In this video, you're going to learn why your relationship with food is stopping you from getting the body that you want and how to fix it. If you're someone who can be controlled with food for weeks and weeks and months, and then you start overeating, you start feeling guilty about foods, you feel like you fall off track, you feel out of control, this video is for you. The internet and the industry like to treat these two things separately. We've got the relationship with food gang and we've got the get shredded fat loss gang. So relationship with food gang is all just love your body as it is, just eat intuitively, give your body what it needs. So that is our relationship with food gang, and the problem here is that you don't just want to accept your body as it is. You don't know how to eat intuitively or check in with your hunger signals when you've been so out of control with food for so long. I know that you're also here because you've got a body goal that you want to achieve. You want to have a toned physique, you want to feel confident in your clothes, you want to feel strong in the gym, you want to start going around in circles in the gym. You want all of these things as well as a healthy relationship with food. You don't just want one at the expense of another. So if we go down the road of just listen to your body, just eat whatever you want, you will not achieve the body goals that you want to achieve. And we can have both. Okay, so our other camp is the Get Shreddy in 8 weeks. This is our extreme transformations that you see all over Instagram. Maybe you've worked with a coach before, maybe you've seen these photos before where people are so chiseled, they've achieved a quick transformation in such a short amount of time. I've worked with clients who have worked with these kinds of coaches before. They've been told to cut everything out of the diet that they enjoy, grind for 8 weeks, train twice a day, do cardio in the morning, train in the evening, 15,000 steps, very low calories, 1,200 calories. Don't go to a family party, don't go on holiday, just live like a robot for 8 weeks. And you can see the problems that we've got here, okay? It leaves you in that cycle of you might stick with that for 8 weeks, you might start feeling good about yourself, you might feel disciplined, and then when you start to actually live your life the way you want to live your life, which is in a realistic way, you start piling weight back on, you start feeling out of control with food. All of those rigid habits unravel because they were never suited to you and your lifestyle to begin with. So we've got two extremes and it leaves you going round and round in circles. Do I just accept my body as it is, or do I really need to be this strict, this disciplined, cutting everything out that I enjoy? How are you ever supposed to build a healthy relationship with food if you do that? The problem with the 8-week shred gang is that everything's about discipline, everything is about grind and hustle, burning yourself out, normalising extreme fatigue, normalising low calorie diets as if everybody should be on them when you absolutely should not. Only that, this actually encourages you to have a bit of a perfectionist mindset where you think you need to be perfect every single day. If you haven't ticked something off, if you haven't got that bit of cardio in, if you haven't hit your steps, then you're failing and you're not doing good enough. If you go over those calories, if you step outside of that, if you go over your calories, if you step outside of that rigid structure, let's say you've got a family event coming up, then you feel guilty, you feel like you're constantly starting over, you end up overeating because you think, well, this doesn't fit the plan, so I may as well just eat whatever. So it has a deeper impact emotionally because you do start to lose trust in yourself. You go through that whole entire process and then everything starts to unravel again because it was unrealistic for you. And then maybe you rebound, you start to gain weight gradually over time, and then you end up back where you started, maybe even in a more worse off position. So you start to lose that trust within yourself that you can actually follow through, even though you know you can. Let's talk about what a good relationship with food actually looks like. Having a good relationship with food is about eating without feeling guilty or without being scared of food. Like when you're at a restaurant and you're ordering off the menu, or when you're eating some ice cream, for example, or a bit of chocolate, and being able to eat these foods without feeling like you've done something wrong, without feeling like you've messed up your diet. Also about seeing food as fuel and fun. So the 8-week shred gang that we spoke about, they don't see food as fun. And we're going to be clear, when you're losing body fat, we can't just be eating whatever you want. There does need to be some structure, there does need to be some ground rules that you live by, but in all of my coaching processes, in the way that I coach myself and how I eat, I never ever cut things out for a certain amount of time, because what you're going to do when that time is over, you're just going to want to binge on all of those foods, and it's exactly why we stay stuck in that cycle that we spoke about before. It's not about eating absolutely everything because you can, it's about knowing you can eat anything within reason, within your plan. And think about it, if you actually factored in all those times where you feel stressed or you feel yourself spiraling, like when you have got a meal out planned, it's someone's birthday, you've got a weekend away planned, but now you've committed to this fitness goal. If all of those things typically throw you off and you're then able to manage them without spiraling, without falling off track, think how much further along you would be. A good relationship with food also involves having flexibility within different situations. Yes, you might have a fat loss goal, but your life is not going to stop. You're still going to have to go to work, you're going to have parties, you're going to have different things that crop up. Maybe you've already got something in the calendar that you booked before. We can't remove all of these things from your life unless you're a bodybuilder and you're going to step on stage, which you are not. So having flexibility in these situations, knowing how to respond in each of these situations is exactly what allows you to have a good relationship with food, because you don't stress, you don't panic, you don't feel overwhelmed, you don't feel guilty if you weren't perfect. You just know exactly how to respond, what to eat in that situation, and how to move on afterwards. Let's go through then some of the beliefs that are keeping you stuck, and they've either come from our 8-week shreddy gang or diet culture as we see it. We see it everywhere. We're literally bombarded in magazines. Does anyone even read magazines? My nan reads magazines. Magazines, the internet, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere you go, social media in particular, we see all these scrawny tiny bodies, what I eat in a day videos, and it's always like crystal clean, and you just think you're just lying. Like, you don't literally eat that 7 days a week, and that's fine. No one needs to eat a perfectly clean 7 days a week. Those beliefs are coming from there, they are coming from your past dieting experiences. So these beliefs are, I need to be strict to see results. And you're going to have your own definition of strict, but for me, my definition of strict used to be cutting out every single sweet food out of my diet till Friday, till I've earned it from working hard all week. So then what would happen? I'd eat clean all week, Friday would come, I'd go get the ice cream, and then I'd think, oh, I've ruined this now. I would eat the ice cream and literally think that I've ruined it now because I've been so perfect all week. So then I would go back to Tesco, buy loads of other snacks. Literally, I remember eating this whole pack of Fox's biscuits. The Fox's biscuits, I'm going to have to put them on the screen, but like those chunky ones, and they're covered in chocolate, and I literally ate the whole pack, and I felt sick after, and all those thoughts started to come in, like, why can I not do this? I should be able to feel in control around food. I've just got no willpower. I'll have to start again on Monday, and that cycle just continues and continues. So this ties in with another belief that's keeping you stuck, and that is, if you let yourself enjoy foods, then you'll feel out of control. So if you do actually let yourself go out for a meal when you've got a fat loss goal, for example, then you won't feel in control after. You'll come home and binge loads of foods. Or if you do actually let yourself have a bit of chocolate, then you'll start to binge on it all and finish the whole block off. This ties into the first belief about needing to be strict to see results. But then I'm also going to challenge you, because I know that you've also got other beliefs that kind of contradict what we've just said, such as saying no means that you're being restrictive. Maybe you weren't expecting that, maybe you're expecting me to say we can just go and eat wherever we want, but we are here to achieve a body transformation. You want that strong toned body, you want the curves, you want to be able to do the pull-up, you want strong glutes, you want to actually feel confident in your physique, in your progress, instead of constantly doubting yourself. And so saying no is not restrictive. Like I said before, you can't eat everything, but you can eat anything. So what I mean by that is, nothing is off limits, but that doesn't mean every single day you can just eat everything. Saying no is not restrictive. And there's going to be times where you have to say no more than usual. Let's talk, if you are in a fat loss phase, your main goal right now is to lose body fat, you are going to be saying no to more things than when you are not in a fat loss phase. And that isn't restrictive, that is just you sticking to your goals, doing what you need to do to lose the body fat. So this is where our relationship with food gang are like, just eat whatever you want, listen to your body. If I did that, if I listened to my body, I would eat ice cream every day. I would eat cake every day, chocolate every day. Lots of it. The last limiting belief is that healthy eating means eating perfect 24/7. So every time you stray from that, in comes the guilt, or you'll finish your diet and then after go back to old habits, in comes the guilt again and the overeating. So can you see how all these beliefs that you've got from past dieting experiences are shaping how you actually feel around food at the moment, which is then holding you back from getting the body that you want? Because if you keep losing fat and you gain it all back, you're never actually progressing with your physique. You're not giving yourself time to get stronger in the gym. You're not dedicating time to building your physique, which can't be done in a fat loss phase. There is a cap to how much muscle you can build in a fat loss phase. So if we're not actually getting to that stage, then we need to solve the root of the problem, which is your relationship with food, which is what we are doing right here. Let's talk about then the key pillars of a healthy relationship with food. I literally speak about this in every video because it is so important and it is literally the backbone of what I do. But the number one principle that you will follow if you want to fix your relationship with food is always losing fat sustainably. Our 8-week shredded gang, yes, you lose weight fast, you lose fat fast, you are getting dopamine hits from being very disciplined, taking everything off, making fast progress, but it literally makes you rebound afterwards. You feel guilty for eating foods. You're more likely to overeat, not because it's a personal failure, but it's how your biology works. When you've been restricted for so long, your hunger increases, cravings increase. Mentally, you just have loads of food noise, doesn't fit in with your usual lifestyles. Then you rebound, you fall off, and you go to the complete opposite, which is what you were doing before. So likely not having much structure around your food, overeating, feeling guilty, feeling out of control at the weekend. So when we're always flitting for these two extremes, that is how it damages your relationship with food. So we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to follow a sustainable deficit, and I've got a video you can watch for this. The huge pillar is giving yourself permission. And like I said, this doesn't mean just eat everything because you can. This means giving yourself permission to eat anything. Not everything. There is a difference. So what does this actually look like in practice? This looks like intentionally putting some chocolate, putting some ice cream into your shopping trolley when you go shopping, instead of telling yourself, oh, I'm not going to eat that, like I just don't need it, and then going out and buying it anyway and eating more of it. So you're going to intentionally plant these foods into your diet, even in a fat loss phase, and you'll notice as soon as you give yourself the permission, all of that food noise, all of that, oh, shall I have it, shall I not, just goes, because you're not restricting yourself, you're not depriving yourself. Again, this ties back to our psychology. If we are told we cannot do something, what do we want to do? We want to do it. So depriving yourself of foods, saying I'm going to cut this out now, not having chocolate again, not having crisps again, it's just a lie, you know it is, and that's fine. Give yourself the permission in every single phase, in fat loss, in the reverse. You're going to maintain, when you're going to build, give yourself the permission. Or let me give you the permission. I will give you the permission to go and enjoy a little bit of chocolate on a Wednesday night, or a little bit of ice cream. Honestly, this is going to be the best experiment for you. This is something that I encourage with all of my clients, and all of them tell me that having worked with me, they no longer need to earn food. Food does not need to be earned. That's where we get in these cycles of, oh, I've eaten that, so I need to go and burn it off, or I need to go and restrict the next day, and you get stuck in these cycles. Doesn't need to be earned, you don't need to compensate. The biggies that we need to talk about are managing your emotions and triggers. This is more than about calories and macros. This is about understanding your personal triggers. So where you feel yourself falling off track, or spiraling, or feeling out of control or guilty around food. So is it when you are stressed after work, you get home, you want some relief, and that's become a bit of a coping mechanism? If so, that is your trigger, stress. So what can we do instead? We need a healthier way to cope with that stress. And there is no shame here, by the way. Everybody has stress, everybody has overwhelm. You're not a bad person for feeling those emotions. And food probably is serving you in that moment, but then long term, you regret those choices and it's not helping you. So you need to practice putting something else in there that's going to make you feel a bit better in that moment. Or is it social situations? You get there and you have that thought like you've already ruined it, so you may as well just eat wherever you want. Or is it having no structure at the weekend that you struggle with and that makes you want to eat? Again, you're not a bad person. Everybody thrives in routine, everybody thrives in the week when we have that structure. So if you take all of that away at the weekend, like you don't really have any plans, you don't really know what food you're eating, your brain is literally like, and then you will start eating food, okay? because you're using it to satisfy another need. So in that instance, how could you add a bit more structure into your weekend? Can you plan some meals maybe? Can you have some plans already in the diary with a friend, with your partner, with yourself? So you've got things in your weekend that are giving you structure and a bit of relief. If you are tired of starting over with your nutrition, with your fitness, with your fat loss goals, your body recomp goals, and you want to build the body you want without all of the obsession, look at the free roadmap that's in the description.